those who are transitioning to the 24 credit requirement, and we'll pull back some of the things that are some of the issues that we're seeing out there, and the data that she's looking at to help us understand how implementation is going. Linda.
Thank you. Jack talked about a 50,000-foot look at things this morning. Well, I provide an illustration. The legislature defines in the program of basic education that graduation requirements are intended to allow students the opportunity to graduate with a meaningful high school diploma that prepares them for post-secondary education, gainful employment, and citizenship. This aligns with the board's vision of an educational system that prepares all students for college, career, and life. So we have the intent and the vision, and we have the reality. And the reality is that although the system serves many students very well, it doesn't serve all students well. And to move from the reality to the vision, the legislature and the board establishes policies such as the 24 credit graduation requirement that puts pressure on the system to change. The change is implemented on the local level in thousands of actions and decisions made around the state by administrators, teachers, and school boards. When it comes to the 24 credit graduation requirements, those decisions are being made right now. This presentation is intended to give you a high altitude flyover to give you a lay of the land and how districts are confronting and adapting to the new graduation requirements. So what is the purpose of doing this? Well, it is timely. Districts are planning right now and thinking about implementing the 24 credit graduation requirements. For districts, the incoming 9th graders will be the first cohort of students earning 24 credits to graduate. If they're a district that has applied for the temporary waiver that delays implementing the requirements for 1 or 2 years, then their current middle school students will be the ones needing to earn 24 credits to graduate. As you all are going to WASDA regional meetings or meetings with superintendents or going on school visits, you may be being asked questions about the graduation requirements. So staff wanted to provide you some information and background that may be useful in your conversations. No action is planned at this meeting, but we do plan on giving you periodic updates on the implementation of the 24 credit graduation requirements. And the board may choose to act on this at a later date. It may be that an issue of implementation rises to the level that the board may want to develop a new policy. Or in the implementation of new requirements, districts may come up with innovative new ways of doing things or effective practices that the board may want to shine a light on or promote. These next couple slides are by way of background. From the class of 1985 to the class of 2012, there were 19 credits required for graduation. Starting with the class of 2013, there was a phase-in of the 24 credit requirements. So in 2013, 1 additional math credit was required. In 2016, 1 additional English credit and half a credit of social studies was added. And in 2019, the 24 credits graduation requirements are being implemented with 1 additional lab science credit and 3 personalized pathway requirements, which are 1 arts and 2 world language credits or flexible credits that are chosen by a student to align with their high school and beyond plan. And this is the table that I'm sure you all have seen that summarizes these changes by class.
Try maybe moving it away from the laptop and give yourself a moment. Let's try that.
All right. In recognition that some districts need more time to implement, both the requirements for the class of 2016 and the requirements for the class of 2019 authorized districts to submit an extension. For the class of 2016, there were 22 districts that got an extension. As of early May, there were 57 districts that had submitted a postponement for the 24 credit graduation requirements. I think that's actually 58 now. And 13 districts submitted for both. So I wanted to give you to share some of the challenges that I've heard that districts are concerned about. This is approximately the order in which I heard the highest frequency was credit retrieval. This is a particular concern for districts that have high schools with 6 period days, because their students only have 24 credits, 24 opportunities to earn a credit. Staffing, this is primarily staffing the additional laboratory science credit, but also districts have mentioned additional world language, CTE, and electives in general. Facilities, here again, it's primarily the laboratory science facility that districts are interested in, but also arts classrooms were mentioned. A lot of districts are exploring changes to school schedules, and this relates to number one there. A different schedule may offer the more opportunities for students to earn credit, more than 24 opportunities. There is a concern about creating a counseling, high school and beyond plan, personal pathway requirements that support the 24 credit requirements. Also communicating with students and parents about the requirements. Career and technical education courses, we worked on that this morning, and districts are very interested in implementing these. And finally, there were unique district challenges mentioned in the applications for proposed publishing requirements. These ranged from some very thoughtful things. A district that had a new high school being built, and they wanted to look at all their programs in terms of the new requirements and the new high school and facilities that supported those things. So I'll include a few quotes from districts here. This is just one that seemed to summarize some of the things they're looking at. I'm going to take a closer look at credit accumulation and credit retrieval, waiver of credits for individual students, scheduling options, and competency-based credit, 2-for-1 crediting and course equivalency. That last bullet is sort of flexible options for credits. Okay, this graph shows a snapshot look at credit accumulation of 10th graders in 2014. It's based only on students that have a credit history data. I suspect there's a fair amount of noise in this data. This data is only relatively recently available in the past 4 or 5 years. OSBI is working on making it more uniform, so the quality of the data is increasing as time passes, but the more recent data is more reliable than this kind of data from 3 or 4 years ago. So I'm not sure exactly what it means to have 10th graders that have earned 0 or 1 or 2 credits. I suspect that means there's some data gaps and some noise in the data. But this does show that most students... No?
That means there's 10th graders with 0 to 1 or 2 credits. Sorry.
Okay, well then, this does show that most students are earning 12 credits by the time they are finishing their 10th grade year. So in the 24 credit realm, a student that has earned 12 credits by the time their 10th graders are probably on track for earning 24 credits by the time they graduate. But there are a fair number of students that have earned less than 12 credits. This table includes the data from that previous graph and also includes the similar data from 2013. So it shows that 43 and 42% of students that are 10th graders earned fewer than 11.5 credits. This approximately aligns with the transcript study that the state board did in 2008. The transcript study was a much more detailed study where there were individual look at actual over 14,000 seniors' transcripts. And that found that 47.3% of those seniors had failed at least one credit during high school. Of these students, 40% did not make it up because the course was an elective or students had already met subject graduation requirements. 32% retook the core class and passed, and 28% made up the credit through before or after school programs or summer school or online courses. So it's data like this that is very concerning to districts, especially districts that have 6-period schedules. These books illustrate that some of these districts are very concerned about credit deficiency in relationship to the new requirements. I do want to say, while there are districts that are very concerned, districts that I talked to and learned about are sort of all over the map. There are districts that feel they have systems in place to recover credit, for students to recover credit, and that they may need to expand that capacity, but they feel fairly confident in their systems. There are other districts that are particularly concerned about their students in their alternative high schools, but less concerned about their conventional high school students. And there are other districts that are fairly confident about the transition to the new graduation requirements, even some that are on 6-period days. One general observation I'd like to share, it seemed to me that there were districts that are particularly concerned who have made a lot of effort to address their graduation rate. So districts that have spent a lot of effort in increasing their graduation rate, especially in the last few years, I think they feel as though they had put successful systems in place and it's working for them. And I think they have some anxiety that the 24 credit graduation requirements will be sort of upend their systems. So I think for future work, I may want to actually contact some of those districts and dig into it a little bit with them and find out what they're planning on doing. So how do districts deal with credit retrieval? Well, these are some typical options: summer school, before and after school programs, staying in high school longer than 4 years, the PASS program for migrant students. Some of these options are free of charge to the students, but some of them are not. Summer school and before and after school programs, online programs, there is sometimes a charge, so that can have an impact on students in poverty. Okay, the bill language in the bill that authorized the 24 credit requirements also addressed credit deficiency with a 2-credit waiver. The same bill also directed WASDA to create a model policy for unusual circumstances. And let's see, I think listed on page 124 through 125 in your packet is some of the definition of unusual circumstances that is in the WASDA model policy. I think that the language of the model policy could be applied to a lot of individual students, in a wide range of different circumstances. However, I think the plain reading of the bill language indicates that the waiver was for individual students and not for groups of students. Districts with schedules that allow more than 24 opportunities for students to earn credit are generally less apprehensive about implementing the 24 credit requirements. And this appears to be something that many districts are planning or exploring. I did want to mention that there is a 2006 report that actually finds a correlation between higher student achievement and the type of schedule at a high school. They found that there was an advantage. There appears to be a correlation between students doing better on state standardized tests. And the 6 period a day and the 4x4 block schedule actually performed lower on standardized tests than did schools with a 7 period a day and a modified block schedule. So I thought this was an interesting take on credit deficiency. By the way, I wanted to mention that I collected this information by having some extensive conversations with just a few districts, by the many telephone calls that come into our office, through doing a preliminary look at the applications that came in to postpone the 24 credit requirements, and then Linda Bentley and Kelly Goodsell at